We are down inside of one of our open mines. We've just descended a very, very long hole. We've come about 55 feet down here, and we're about to give you an excellent tour.
Now we're going to the gold site room, where we've recovered $30 million worth of gemstone crystals, as displayed in our last photo. For more information about Gold Site, please visit our website at goldsitegems.com.
Now we're in the first of our small rooms. We've come down, after our initial descent down the vertical opening, we've come down about maybe 40 feet or so. We've come right around a corner that's right there in the spotlight. The lighting is a little bit tricky down here. And now we've got that one way out, and we've got one way. I'm down here today with my associate Quinn, and we have our guide right up ahead of us. Now we just come down our second staircase since we've entered the mine itself. Or I should say our second ladder, excuse me. We're in a very small room that we just had to kind of shimmy into, and it was really fun, actually. It's not so tight that you're, can't breathe or anything. It's just a little bit tight if you have a bag on or anything like that, but it's a heck of a lot of fun. We're headed a little bit further down. We're going to show you that next part in just a second. Now, we're in a spot that's a little bit difficult to film right now, but off to the right, we have an opening that leads towards where many people before have believed that the Josephine connects to. We're going to be going down that way in a little while here. The route we're going to be taking right now is right where that light is. That is the opening to where our gold site, which is a type of calcite we'll be talking about, can be found. Hey guys, welcome back. We've moved down a couple of rooms now. We're in a gloriously large-sized room. This is a cavern where we've sourced our gold site, our type of calcite I mentioned earlier. It's a little bit difficult with our lighting conditions to tell, but we've got an enormous, enormous area above us. We have quite a bit of spread on this room. It's a fantastic feeling to be in this place. Now, this room was mentioned as early as 1898 in a newspaper based out of Salt Lake City. We have heard, or I should say I have heard, third-hand now, so take it for a third-hand account, of a story of a very prolific silver Spanish miner who specialized in these old Spanish mines. He came down here at one point in the distant past, and he ended up getting deep enough that he came across the area where one of the ladders we had traversed is, a couple of rooms previous to this. I think we mentioned it in our recording. Now, at the time that he came there, what he had instead of a ladder was he came across some carved out niches for your hands and feet to go as he climbed down. And that's at about a 70-degree angle. It's fairly steep and it's fairly tight. Now, according to this story, by the time he got down to this area and a little further, he ended up coming across a silver vein about the width of a refrigerator. And he ended up shaving a piece of that off with his knife and coming back up there. So we're down here doing a lot of things, and that might hopefully be one of them very soon. So it's pretty crazy to see how little light we're actually getting down there with just headlamps on.
Yeah, typically miners entering the room, back maybe where the Aztecs were, would probably use torches. And then the Spaniards, they'd let their slaves use lanterns. We've got pictures of that on our website on the first page. And then headlamps probably for Byrd in 1898 when he was down here, and his son mentioned this room. And so that would just basically illuminate their steps, and then they'd have to put them really close to see where the gold was. So this time, with additional more powerful lighting that we can spot things, we've discovered in the ceiling of the great room a huge deposit of white quartz. With telltale signs of dirty quartz, which is gold, and which is indicated of free gold in quartz as wire gold.
Yeah. And has anyone ever reported that this was there, or has it ever been in a newspaper article or anything like that?
Yep, we have that on our website. It's called the Kimball Report, and it's called the Byrd Report. There was a huge and there's a huge deposit in this room that's never been reported. They didn't mention.
So
anything.
they've talked about the room, but they've never talked about this wire gold being in the quartz in that room.
None whatsoever.
Awesome.
All they said was it was a shaft.
Yeah.
And it's more than a shaft, it's a mine.
Well, whenever you're finding something new, it definitely gives you a little bit of a sense of a pride, and I'm definitely excited to be going down there again. What's the next move for when we go down there again?
Well, our next planned mining activity will include more lighting, so we can see the whole room instead of just one spot at a time.
Yeah. How big is that room, by the way? It's hard to get a sense.
It's 60 by 40 yards with a height of 30 feet. That's huge.
Yeah, that's somewhere in the range of like a quarter or a fifth of an acre, somewhere out there.
That's right. And a geologist in the 80s discovered a solid piece of white quartz that was full of wire gold from a reliable report on the floor of this room. And not knowing that it fell from the ceiling, probably.
Yeah.
So that's weird. That the guy he was employed by a previous claimant.
Yeah, and I mean, even right now, who knows how deep the deposit goes up or down? I mean, with that size of a surface area, a fifth of an acre or so of the ceiling, I mean, we don't even know. Who knows the depth of the deposit, or if it continues on the floor and goes further down? There's a lot to learn.
And we don't know with the other 58 mines that we've located with man-made activity, how many have the same scenario this one has? Probably the same.
Yeah.
So if we're leasing those out and they've got the same activity and the same features and the same huge white quartz wire gold scenario, that's something that people probably are going to want to
I imagine so.
check into.
Yeah. And this, so that means the next clip that is in the video is probably the first time for about 300 or so years that anyone's had enough adequate lighting to witness it, witness all of that wealth that's in that room everywhere all around and up and down and all the sides. So
that's why it's never been reported, because they didn't.
Somebody would have already mined it if they knew it was there.
They would have mined it. There's a lot of tunnels that probably end up the same kind of shaft as this one, as a pit, and then down at the bottom, just like ours, is where the slaves would be housed, and then they would go down into caverns just like this one and do their thing, just like we showed on our webpage. We show a rendition of that on page 1 of the website, JosephineGoldMine.com.
Yep. Awesome, guys. Feast your eyes on this.
Here we have some of the beautiful, just amazing hanging rock formations that we find in some of these caverns. And some of them actually end up dripping down and forming stalactites and stalagmites down below. And we've seen a couple of smaller ones in here and some evidence of some larger ones in the past. It's pretty fantastic stuff. That's about, I'd say, 8 or 9 feet ahead, right above of me.
Left, but you're mostly center.
Tell me whenever you want me to go.
Oh yeah, you're good. Okay. You're good to go.
All right, guys, we're just about wrapping up our adventure here. We are back at our opening to the mine here. We just had a couple of closing thoughts that we had on the way that we wanted to talk to everyone about. And Quinn, how warm do you think it was down here for most of this?
Goodness, I think it was at least 55, 60 degrees.
Yeah, I feel like it probably didn't climb much more than that, but that seems about right to me too. It was incredibly warm. It's the early October right now, while as we're filming this, and above ground it's not all that warm. We're wearing a lot of layers, and down here we've got a lot less. The only other thing I think we wanted to point out was this is the type of thing that all year round vehicles can make it up to where we are. All year round we have a road that's full access all the way up to this mine shaft. It's been entered by our company many times. It's definitely something that people can do. In the winter it's more convenient to access it by snowmobiles or snowcats or something like that, but it's definitely very doable and nice and warm down here. We're headed back up, guys. Hope you enjoyed everything.